So what you see in your screen right now, it's a simple application. It's a Next application, and we have one single component. It's the login component. It's fully functional. It's making an HTTP call, a post request to an endpoint, and it will allow you to log in. So if you enter the right combination, then you are logged in. I didn't prepare anything further this point, but because I didn't see any errors and those two fields are empty, I know it's working. Let's try something that will not work. So if I try this, then I see a message stating that login is unsuccessful. Okay, what else does it do? If you hit login without filling anything, there is a basic validation. So you will see those two messages. And if you start typing, then those messages, they will go away. Very good. So the last thing I want to show you is this. So I have Chrome DevTools open, Network tab, and if I hit Login, you will see that no HTTP request was made. But if we check the console, you will see something different. Console, let me bring this up a little bit. So there is something called Mirage, and it replied with a status 201 with the user. Of course, password shouldn't be here, but this is just a proof of concept. What is this Mirage? Let me bring the home page here. So Mirage is a mock server, a mock API server that lives within your front-end project, and it allows you to build your full application without having an API. So let's say you are starting something, but the team that is responsible to build the API is not ready to start working, but you are ready to build your front end. So you bring Mirage, you configure it with the real endpoints that you are going to call later on, and it will reply with everything you need. Okay, so if we go back to the project and we get the list of folders and files, you will see that we have a folder named Mirage here with everything we need. And if we check the route folder index, you will see that I have a route post whose name is login. In the callback, it receives schema and request. I can then read what was provided in the request body. Then I use the in-memory database that Mirage will provide you. I search by username and password. If user is not found, then I return a response 404 with user not found. Otherwise, I'm just returning the user. So with that out of the way, I have here a set of to-do tests that I put in place. So I will not forget what needs to be tested. During my preparation for this talk, I was very tempted to build the whole interface using TDD, test-driven development, but that would require at least double the time, and the clock is ticking. So I decided to prepare everything in advance and then just include those to-do and start testing while we keep checking if our interface is working. So I have those tests running here, yeah, and then just for the sake of simplicity, I'm going to comment out all of those. So I will do one by one. Okay, so you also notice that I have two other tabs here. One with Vue test utils, which is the library you are probably using in order to mount your Vue components to make them available for Jest to make assertions. And now I am bringing an alternative testing library, which is the only thing I use in order to test my Vue applications. And all because of this. So what this statement means? It means that your tests should test only what your users see and interact with, meaning the document object model. So in this case, testing library will not provide you with any means to change the state, for instance, because the state is implementation details. Your user, the user of your application, he doesn't care how that thing is done. The only thing the user cares is that your application works. So this is what testing library aims to ensure. So let's see this happening. Okay, I need to import two things here, the component itself. Then I'm going to bring two things from testing library view. And of course, I have everything installed. So on line 18, testing library view, the library itself, and also on line 27 and 28, I have two additional libraries, one being just done and the other one user event. I will talk about them when they appear during tests, okay? So first thing, let's get rid of this to-do and start the test implementation. We start by rendering the component. And if I save and go back to the test, of course, I need to import. Okay, so nothing is broken. So it's the first good signal that we are receiving. Okay, so what about this screen object here? Now I have an opportunity to show why one of the reasons I like testing library so much. So if I use screen.debug and then I come back here, I have a very nice output of what gets rendered about my component. So I can inspect anything in a way that is readable because we have indentation, we have colors, and everything, okay? So the first test is to ensure that render the box with the welcome message. Where is the welcome message? It's here. It's not enough for me to know it. I need to assert. So expect to be in the document. And here is another different thing. Do you remember that I have on line 27, this library, testing library, just done? So just done is a small library that will extend the expect of jest, okay? So after installation, and the installation is pretty simple. Here I have the jest config. On line 7, I have setup files after env. So those files will be executed after the test environment is ready. And this jest setup is a file that I created and I just imported here. After that, everything will be ready for you after the expect. And then I use the screen object to get by text. I pass a regular expression. And why do we choose to use a regular expression? Because by doing this, I don't have to care about, for instance, uppercases. I can just start typing because of this I here, meaning insensitive, case insensitive, and everything should work. Now I have a passing test. So let me just negate this condition here to see another good thing about testing library. It will output a very nice error message telling exactly where the problem appeared and with a nice output. So expect document not to contain element, but found this element here. So testing library will guide you through the process. So we have our first our first passing test. Very good. So next one, it should display input type email. Because I know that I will be rendering the same component over and over again, I will create a small helper here. So render component and just bring this here and replace render component, which is easier to type instead of this. Okay. And if I did everything ready, the test is still passing. Okay, next one. So I remove the to-do, include the callback, render component, and then expect screen, get by role, text box with a name email to be in the document. Let's see first if the test passes. It passes. So what's going on here? Another thing that is very good about testing library is that testing library, I'm missing the word. I don't want to use the word forces you, but it will, I don't know. Because we have get by role here, it will enable you to build a more accessible application, because most of the times you will be using get by role, and we have a text input that the accessible name following the area conventions is text box. The name is email. And then I am just making an assertion that it is in the document, and it is. So we can keep going. I will implement the next one. I can just copy and paste this. But in this case, if I try get by role text box with the name password, the test will fail because password doesn't have an accessible name, okay? It simply doesn't exist. But then we can do something different. We can do get by label text, and then we pass password here. We can remove this part here and see, no, not yet. Oh, I know why. Because I am not using regular expression here, and now it passes. And this is another thing that is a testing library guiding you to build a better experience for your user, because I can only get by label text if I include a label. So a lot of times developers, they neglect the label in order to provide a more fancy form without a label. Maybe with a placeholder that will turn into a label when the user focus in the field. That's okay. But only if behind the scenes you are providing everything that the users need, those users that cannot use a regular browser. So now I am getting the field, but I'm getting the field by the associated label. We can see this if we get the component, and then we come here and we find that field that is password. We see that we have a label for password linked to this ID. So I am getting this component here by this label. Well, let's move. Next one. It should display a submit button. This should be exactly the same as this one. So copy and paste. And in this case, I want button with the name login to be in the document. Okay, passing. Next one. Should ensure both fields have a placeholder text. This is also interesting. So render component const field 1 is equal. Let me this. That's no. In this case, I will use a different selector. Get by placeholder text. And then I know that the first is you at example.com. The second one, your password. And here I need field 2. And then expect field 1 to be in the document and field 2 to be in the document. If I did everything ready, so yes, those two fields, they have a placeholder text, otherwise they wouldn't be in the document. So please note how it is telling you a story. Like you include the very nice text test description, and then you just read this, and it tells you exactly what to expect. Okay, we're going well. So let's keep doing. Okay, this one should not make a post call on form submit when form data is not fully filled. So now we are testing this. If I hit this button, no Axios call should be made. Okay, so first we need to import Axios, and then we have to mock Axios. So spy on Axios method post, and then I will return mock resolved value, and I will just return. Okay, I know that I'm going to have to use a wait inside, so I am marking as async. First thing, render component. Then I need to get a reference to the button. I did this somewhere here. Okay, so then I need to click the button. Do you remember in the package JSON that I have another library named user event? So this is another goodie from testing library creators that will provide you means to interact with the DOM as a user would. So user event from testing library user event, then await user event click, button, and then expect Axios post, which is now a mock function, not to have been called. And if I did everything right, okay. If I remove this not here, okay. So in this case, I am expecting Axios post to be called, but it was not. I'm just testing for a false positive. So we are doing well. Let's keep moving. It should display feedback when fields are missing. So what is the feedback I am expecting? Is this one? I am whoa here, and also this one. Okay, so render component. We have the button, a sync, await user event click button. I could even do something different, like I don't need this const here, but I can just pass it right there, and then expect string get by text, and I passed it here to be in the document, and then this and save. Okay, it's fine. So I have those two in place. Very good. Moving forward. Now I have to fill those two form fields, and then I can ensure that Axios post is being executed. Okay, so I will copy this here. I also need those two fields here. Okay, await user event type. So user will type something in the field 1, and it's going to be the email. Okay, the second one is going to be the password, and then expect Axios post to have been called times. Just one. And for now, this is all I'm going to do. Okay, it was not called. Let me check why. So I have the button, the fields. Okay, so before anything else, let me show you something that testing library can also do for you. We saw the output of the whole component, but if I pass something specific here, then it will output whatever you pass to the debug method. So I'm checking button is there, field 1 is also there, and field 2 is also there. So it's not a problem that I am working with something that doesn't exist. Maybe I shouldn't be using regular expression. Maybe I am doing too much. So, whoops, here. So that was the problem. So, yes, Axios post was called one time. And if I bring the login here and I check the method, I can even make an assertion of what was passed to Axios post. So in this case, let me check, expect Axios post to have been called, then API login and email and password, exactly what I provided here to both fields. Okay, there is a typo. Oh, it's passing. That's beautiful. Okay, so here we can see clearly that we are arranging. Arranging is this, acting, and then asserting. Asserting. Yes, this is the triple A of unit testing. Yeah, arrange, act, assert. Good. I don't know how much time we have. I will just keep going. So another thing that comes to my mind is this. I'm gonna have to repeat those for some of those tests that are still to be written. So I'm going to remove from here, and then I'm gonna create a new method here. Async view and submit form, and then all of this, and then return button field 1 and field 2, because I'm gonna need those inside the tests in order to make assertions. And then this case, I don't need any of those. So it's just await, fill, and submit form. And if I did everything right, it should be working. Yes, it is. So now for this one, it should clear form field on submit success. So again, render component. I need field 1 and field 2 is equal await, fill, fill and submit form, and then expect field 1 value to be empty. Same thing for the field 2. Let's see. No, it is not. And I can tell you why. When fill and submit form is executed, Vue.js, it does it lightning fast. So when it comes to this point of execution in the test, line 87 and 88, the Vue.js didn't have the time to clear the fields. So testing library provides a good way for us to wait for something to happen. So here I'm going to grab those two, wait for, I pass a callback, and then I do it inside the wait for. And okay, now we gave Vue.js some room to breathe to do its job. And now we know that we can assert that those two fields are indeed cleared after the form submission. Very good. So we have 5 to go. Okay, so it should change submit button label to please wait during submit. Okay, so I'm not even typing. Copy and paste. Here I need the button. So expect button dot text content. Yes, to be or to equal. It doesn't matter. I hope it doesn't matter. Please wait. Okay. We know that when submit, then the label changes to please wait. Okay. This one should change submit button label back to login. Okay. So we can grab all of those. So I'm going to first assert that it changed, but then wait for, and then I want this to be back to log. Whoops. Async. Aha. Maybe if I use here the regular expression, no. So now we know that regular expressions, they only work when we are dealing with specifics of testing library, like this screen get by something. Okay, so to equal log in, let me see. So let's read the message. Should change. It's just a matter of casing. It's fine. Okay, 3 to go. You should toggle disable submit button during submit. Okay, let's see. Okay, can grab all of this. Okay, so we are going to do something different. So expect button to be disabled. This also comes from just DOM, and then here after a while not to be disabled. Okay, passing. 2 more to go. I hope you guys are not tired. The same goes for fields. So here I can grab all of this, async. So instead of button is field 1, field 2. They should be disabled, but in the end, they should be not disabled, or we have also to be enabled, which is better, right? If it works, I'm going to also change what we have right above. Okay, it's working, and here to be enabled should be also working. And the last one, it should display a message when credentials are not valid. In this case, I cannot use this method here because I am passing something that is valid. So I will start by copying this one together, this, and I will prepare a scenario that is valid for this test case and this test case only. So let me remove the to-do. Okay, so I'm going to pass something different here. Maybe include a number 2 here. And then here, I'm going to mock rejected value and error, some error happened. Okay, so this will force Axios post to fail. And then the execution, instead of going through this path, it's taking this one. And something different should happen, because in this case, if the error message exists, then I will be able to check if those two are in the interface. So let me just paste those here, and then await, wait for, expect screen get by text to be in the doc. Okay, I grab this one, I grab this one, and wait for the tests. Okay, unable to find an accessible element with the role button. and name login. Aha, I know why. Because I forgot to render the component. And here, I would like to point out that the just spy on should come before rendering the component. Because when you change a real implementation to a mock, then just while mounting the component will include the mocked version, not the real implementation. So if I switch the order, this will not work, okay? Okay, so now everything is passed. Let's check the coverage to see how high it is. Wow, it's pretty high, 100%. So we are covering everything that our component does, and this ends the presentation. As you can see, there is not much in our tests. Our test suite is pretty clean. Yeah, you don't have to do much. And if you read test by test, you will have a good feeling of what is going on there. I hope you like it, and I will take the next next couple of minutes to take questions, and I will answer those questions to the best of my knowledge. Thank you.